name is Mani Akhtari. I was born in Esfahan.
My name is Mitra Akhtari. I was born and raised in Esfahan, Iran. In 1999, my father came to the US as a political refugee. And 2 years later, we came and we joined him as his dependents. Going from Iran to El Paso, Texas was a really big change.
First few years we were in this country, it was really hard financially. My dad worked 18 hours a day as a cab driver.
And my mother, who was a physician in Iran, she actually couldn't practice here because she first had to pass the USMLE board exams, and we couldn't really afford for her to take these exams.
When we got here, I was 15 years old. It was the second half of sophomore year.
I was 13 at the time. I didn't speak any English.
7 or 8 months after we got there, September 11th happened.
Explosion. People running up the street. Everybody's panicking.
And that was a really frightening experience because, we just came to this country as refugees, and there was a whole shift of attitude from everybody around us.
And I was bullied. Kids at school called me a terrorist. They said, "Oh, is your uncle Saddam Hussein? Are you gonna bomb us?"
It was a lonely experience being an Iranian American. We were not very liked.
Yeah, I remember sometimes I would eat lunch in the bathroom because I preferred to be alone.
There were some of the hardest years I ever lived, and I definitely would not go back to high school if I could. I'm just glad it's over. One of the worst experiences I had was when I got accepted to UT Austin. I was accepted to UT Austin, I was accepted to UCLA, and I was accepted to Carnegie Mellon. We didn't have enough money for me to get on a plane and go visit these schools. And I thought to myself, if I can't get on a plane to go visit these schools, I can't afford these schools. So I shouldn't go. So my only option was UT Austin at that point. So to do my school visit, I was going to take an overnight bus to go and visit UT Austin. Back in the day, it wasn't Homeland Security, it was called ICE, Immigration and Customs something. The ICE agent comes and he's going around asking everybody, "Are you a US citizen? Are you a US citizen?" And he gets to me, and of course I'm not a US citizen, so I say no. And he says, "Oh, show me your papers." And he says, "Okay, come on off." And he takes me off the bus, he takes my luggage off the bus, he says, "We have to call to Washington." And I missed the bus, and he didn't let me get back on the bus. He was telling me things like, "We're going to deport you, we go back where you came from." And my dad comes, finally he called Washington and verified that we were really refugees. And my dad, like all his savings, he buys me a plane ticket so I can go visit UT the next day. And so I still got to make the undergrad visit day, thankfully. And but that was just a horrible, traumatizing experience. It really made me so unwelcome here in this country. It took me years to get over that.
I got a full ride scholarship to go to UT Austin. And I also got into UC Berkeley. When I found out I got into UC Berkeley, I actually cried because, growing up in Iran, you hear the name of UC Berkeley as this very elite institution, and also a place where there were a lot of student movements. And I was so happy that I had gotten in, and I cried, but I knew that I couldn't afford it. I remember my mom at the time, she said to me, "I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I think you should go to UC Berkeley." I knew that my parents could drop me off, and that was it, basically. They had to go back to Texas, and I took the bus from my dormitory to IKEA because I needed to buy furniture. I missed the stop, so I had to ride the bus basically all the way. And on the bus ride back home, I was thinking, okay, I bought furniture, and that's it. That's all the money I have, and I'm not gonna be able to afford groceries. I think getting ISF was actually a big part of why I felt like I could go to UC Berkeley. And that's when I got a check from Mr. Safipur at ISF. And yeah, it was I don't know how to describe the feeling, because I know what it felt like not to have that money, and having that money, it was a huge weight lifted off of my shoulder. Like not having to think about where your next meal is going to come from because you just bought furniture. That's huge.
When I got ISF and it came at the right time, it was so nice knowing that we have a community, that there is people here in this country, who care about me, about who I am as an Iranian. And that was very special. That was the first time that I felt like this was my home now.
I was working, but I didn't have to work all those hours, and I could spend those hours. I was a research assistant for a professor in the economics department who later wrote me a recommendation letter, and that recommendation letter is probably a big part of why I got into grad school and why I could go to Harvard to get my PhD.
ISF to come and award me this generous amount, which by the way was the largest scholarship amount I received from anybody else. I mean, I had a lot of other scholarships too, but the ISF scholarship was by far the largest.
And also, it's not just about the money. I think for these students to know that there is someone out there who doesn't know them, but is willing to invest in their future and is willing to invest in the community.
To know that there's people in this country who care about me as an Iranian and as an Iranian student, that was priceless. You cannot put financial, numbers or dollar value on that. And to feel that, you belong here, to feel that there's people who care about you, and that it's okay to be Iranian. You should be proud to be Iranian, and that there are other Iranians who are here to support you. That was really, again, that's just priceless.
I still text and talk to Khanum Hariri regularly. I go to the galas almost every year because, Khanum Hariri was someone that had committed to supporting me financially for 4 years. And Mr. Safipur was someone that I didn't know, but he was calling me to make sure that things were going well for me at university. It just felt like having another mom and dad, it just felt like they were my family, and they cared about me, and that was also a really, really big deal.
As Iranians, we are some of the hardest working people, smartest people, most motivated people that I know who live in this country. We have different ethnic backgrounds, we have different religious backgrounds, we have different belief systems about different things, but at the end of the day, there's one thing that unites all of us, and that's we are Iranian, okay? And this fact binds us through thousands of years of history, all the way from Iran back all the way to here. It binds us. We are together, no matter who wants to separate us, they can't, because we are one big family, and we will be. And ISF, I think, is a wonderful opportunity, to prove that.